What do you see, Grandpa?
What?
What do you see?
Who?
I'm trying to hold you up and use you as a telescope. Do you see anybody outside the cave?
Yeah?
How many? God, you are the worst telescope ever. Beverly, just
I'm
put
not
your
a
head up
fucking
and-
telescope, that's why, you dick!
Well, can't you act like a telescope and, like, tell me some things going
No,
on
I can't
up there?
act like a telescope because I'm a bag of fucking ashes.
Oh my god. All of this about the off-brand Ziploc bag you're in. Get over it. You'll be back in your fucking Bhagavita ancient urn that fucking Amelia gave, or the princess, or whoever the fuck gave you the urn. You'll get back in it, and it's going to be fine, but it was too heavy.
You assume I want to be back in an urn, little boy. I want to be back in my body. I want my fucking body.
Well, that's burnt to a crisp. That's Bartholomew, that's burnt to a crisp.
Exactly.
Oh, Sister Marble, you triggered him. It's like the one thing you're not supposed to mention.
Well, I'm sorry, Grandpa. I just didn't know. I thought maybe you didn't remember that it was all burned up, because sometimes
Burned
we
up.
can think that our spirit and our body are two different things.
Now, Sister Marble, we've been over this several times. You do not mention that Grandpa is a burnt-up crisp of what he used to be.
Okay, calm.
Put me down.
You're not burnt up. You're not burnt up.
I'm not burnt up.
Well, you don't have to. God, now you're going to confuse him. Grandpa, you are burnt up.
Who am I?
See, now he's got Lewy body dementia. He doesn't remember what his body is. He doesn't remember anything about it.
Oh, well, yeah, Lewy body dementia runs in the family. My aunt forgot what her hand was.
It can happen to the best of us, you know, and some people struggle with it more silently, and clearly, Grandpa has Lewy body dementia. Thanks a lot, Sister Marble.
Why was it my fault he got Lewy body dementia? I was just telling him one fucking thing, and I didn't know it was gonna ruin the damn whole boat trip. I mean, damn, he's fucking sensitive.
Come over here, Sister Marvel. We don't want to go. Don't be doing all that. Don't be cussing now. That's not ladylike.
I'm sorry, Brandon. They just get me so worked up sometimes. I swear to God, I didn't mean to piss Grandpa off. He's just so sensitive. They just say one wrong thing.
Well, just stop talking about it. Stop talking to him.
Oh, yeah, I guess, I mean, our stories don't have to overlap, Grandpa. You stay over there, I'll stay over here. It's probably easier that way anyway.
Yeah, you don't need no other man in your life, Sister Marvel. Come over here.
Brandon, we're not doing this sort of clingy, protecting bullshit. I've been going around these racetracks for years without no man, so you're not gonna come in here and tell me how to live my life, okay?
I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying he ain't doing nothing but putting you down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'll just let them do what they're gonna do, and we'll just... What? You wanna just sit back here and play some games?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Sister Marble and Brendan are so annoying. Grandpa, are you alright? I really don't think she meant as much pain as she caused.
Well, the good thing about me is that I don't feel pain like you. Once you felt pain for centuries, you don't feel anything. Hell, millennia.
Yeah, I mean, you have been down here a long time.
Sometimes I wish it would just end, son.
Well, Grandpa, I mean, that's not... You can't die before you see the man who did this to you taken down. I mean, that should give you reason enough to live. And you just met your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter.
Yeah, I did, but she doesn't like me.
Beverly, you don't like your grandpa?
I mean, I've had better grandpas.
See?
Well, I mean, you can't blame him. He was out here... Grandpa, what even happened to you out here? You came here, Bertram stole your girl, and what? He burnt you alive at the crisp? I mean...
Essentially, that's, yeah, not much depth.
But you never even found what you were like. You never were able to send something home with anybody, or like... I mean, your family has just thought you were gone forever. See, Beverly...
I left my family.
You left the... You just flat out left them?
Yeah, I told him I was going to get some milk.
Oh.
Wanted to start a new life. Always was a fan of Ferdinand Magellan.
Thought you'd go out and start sailing the world and discovering shit?
Who are you to judge me?
No, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to get the story straight.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a legendary archaeologist. They have talked about you for centuries, and it's crazy that some of the stuff that you discovered, and it's just sad that, you know, all these years, your family thought that you just, I don't even know what they thought, but they definitely didn't think you walked out on them, but maybe that's why...
Well, they definitely thought I died.
Yeah, and now You know, you can't be mad that Beverly doesn't really know you that well because she thought you were dead for 90 years.
Yeah, I did, Grandpa, and the thing is I got nothing. I got nothing to make him feel better.
Grandpa, I think one way that would make you feel better is if you just look. I'm going to hold you up one more time.
Okay.
And you act as the perfect telescope. And I think that will be very good for your relationship with me, but also with Beverly, because if she sees you do something to help, I mean, that's a good thing.
Okay, it's okay.
Now, I'm going to hold you up. You tell me how many guards are outside of the cave.
Let's see. Do you want Roman numerals?
Oh my god. Yeah, if you can tell me just any sort of way, any character that you want to tell me use would be good.
Okay. Alpha. Beta.
Greek letters. Okay.
Delta. Yeah, we got about 6.
Okay, I don't... As long as you know 6, because I don't think... I mean, the Greek letters don't add up to 6, but if you...
They did in my day.
Oh. Well, okay, there's 6 people up there. Beverly, I don't know what... How are we supposed to get back into this cave?
Well, I mean, let's just get up there and see if we can whack one of them and take his suit and pretend to be him.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we could totally try that. Do you have any coins lying around that we could flip on the ground to distract him?
Yeah, you know what? Conveniently right here, there's one that's sort of glimmering. It's catching my attention.
Okay, yeah, let's try that.
Let me just press square to pick it up.
Oh, okay, good thinking.
Okay, now it's in my inventory.
Now scroll to it.
How do I give it to you?
I think maybe you should just throw it. You take L2.
Okay.
And then you aim with the joystick and throw it with R2.
Joystick and R2?
Yeah, you just throw it over and if you throw it
Which one's R2? Is this R2?
Yeah, that's R2.
Okay.
And then you just throw it. If you throw it behind the trees there, we can probably get that fat one on the end to go inspect it.
Okay. Alrighty. Oh!
Okay, good shot.
Oh, he's alerted.
He's got the question mark over his head. Oh, okay. It says he's investigating distraction. Everybody make sure your head is down below the edge of the boat.
Okay.
Oh, we're hiding down here.
You don't have to say anything. You just got to hide.
I'm hiding though, Clark.
Shut up! You just got to keep it quiet. He's investigating distraction.
Clark.
What is it, Brandon?
I'll go pee.
Go pee. I don't care what you do, Brandon, but you need to be silent.
Okay.
Oh, Brandon, that piss feels good on me.
Guys, you have to be quiet.
Ew.
I don't know why these kids are so fucking sexual.
Probably because they hang around us. Am I the one going to...
I guess we probably should have got you off the boat, shouldn't we?
He's walking back. Damn it.
God damn it, you kids, you and your piss play got us the
I
one...
wasn't trying to piss play. I just usually you've been telling me to do it off the boat, but then he told me to get down.
There's no more fucking coins. Now what are we supposed to do to distract him?
Whoa. I mean, I'm a shiny little thing you could throw.
Oh.
And I'm sentient, so I can bust him up. Okay, I can bust a clap. I can bust him up when I get over there.
Well, that's not a bad idea here, sister.
Yeah, I guess you could do both.
Okay, I'm going to put you in my inventory.
Okay.
Hold on. You're not showing where you normally... Oh, you're a special item. Okay.
There's a lot of stuff in these pockets. How do you fit so many weapons and throat lozenges in here?
Well, I've had many upgrades over the years to my backpack.
Can I have this butterscotch?
Sure, Sister Mar... Yeah.
How many legs does it take to get to the center of butterscotch?
Finish up the butterscotch, because he's back in position, so I think he's going to hear you if I throw you as quick.
Okay.
Oh!
Sister Marvel gonna be okay.
I don't know, Brandon, but keep your fucking voice down. Looks like okay, he's going over there. Oh, she got them.
Oh.
He's down on the ground. Quick, row the boat over there. Row.
Oh! Row your boat gently down the stream.
Merrily.
I thought you sitting there talking.
Well, Brandon, adults are allowed to do whatever they want. Come on, Brandon.
I'm 26.
What? You're 26?
Yeah.
So, like, the voice and the demeanor are what? Disability?
What are you talking about? My mama said I'm like everybody else.
Brandon, I thought you were like 6.
They don't let 6-year-olds have jobs.
Well, Yeah, I guess, I should have thought about that, but we're on Goat Island, so I thought maybe because goat lifespans are shorter, like 6 years old was more mature.
But yeah, okay, what the fuck ever.
Hey, oh, well, I was going to say don't cuss, but technically, Brandon, you can do whatever you want. I don't know.
Yes, I can, and if I want to taste on a marble, I will.
I don't know that Sister Marble knows that you're 26. I guess
How
that...
do you think I am?
I think six! We all kind of thought you were 6!
No, I said 26.
You thought he was 6?
I thought he was younger.
Even younger than 6?
I thought maybe he's 6. Maybe if he's 6, he has a disability.
Yeah, Brandon, this is like the shock of the episode.
Well, I didn't mean to be the shock in the episode. I don't know, maybe I am a simple one.
I think you, oh, okay, Sister Marble's waving us over. Come on.
Okay.
Costume don't fit me. I can't look like a security guard.
Well, of course it wouldn't, Sister Look at you, you're tiny. Come here, get back in my inventory.
Okay.
Actually, get in Brandon's inventory.
Oh, I don't know if Brandon should marble. Beverly, he's 26.
How old's Sister Marble?
Whoa. You never ask a girl her age. You never do that, Beverly. How old are you, bitch?
You never ask yeah, you're right, never.
Yeah, listen to Dr. Xavier. He said they treat me like a child, so let that give you an age range.
What?
Shit.
If we're gonna treat you like a child, why are you cussing at me?
It's just I've been hanging around Brandon a lot, and he cusses behind closed doors, like when I'm rolling around in his ass, he says shit.
Sister Marble, I told you not to tell them that.
Well, it's like sometimes when I come out and I'm covered in poop, he'll say, oh, fuck, and I thought it was cool, so I started saying that, too.
Brandon, you are a terrible influence on Sister Marble. She's an innocent soul.
We had no idea you were 26, Brandon. This is really,
Don't kick me out of your group because I'm 26.
it's a little weird. I don't know. And you're teaching our marble to say cuss words.
How do you know if I was lying? Why would you just believe me?
Well, yeah, I guess you are retarded.
We don't use that word anymore, Clark.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're special needs.
No, we don't use that anymore either.
Oh my god, all this nonsense. Let me just put on this outfit. How do you do, fellow cave guards?
I'm not positive they talk like that, but here, put on the big black hat.
Yeah, okay, this should help. So what do you think I should say? If you don't think they sound like that?
I wouldn't say anything.
Well, I got to get them to get out of the way, or else how am I going to sneak you guys in there?
Why don't you go over there and do your signature dance and start getting their attention, and then maybe they'll all gather around you and start clapping while you're, on your hands, on your knees, and
okay.
You do that dance at the club that gets everybody going.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll try it. It's, and Sister Marble, you love that song so much, you could come out and dance to it and sing it if you want.
Okay, you want me to sing Fuck the Pain Away?
Yeah, if you want to, you could come out and sing it and I'll do a little dance.
Okay, yeah, we can try that.
Yeah, while you're doing that, we'll sneak around.
Okay, now we'll go out. We'll try to get the crowd gathered, and then you guys sneak in as quickly as you can. I think once you're inside the cave, you can just wait for us to get in there. Because they're not going to, be searching the inside of the cave.
I would think not.
Okay, you guys go around, and me and Marble are going to go out.
Alright, I'm going.
Oh, fuck, it is a long day standing out here guarding the Bertram has got me fucked up. Don't you fellow guards agree? You ever just wish you could chillax, max and relax and watch a cool show out there?
What are you talking about?
Don't you wish? It's like we've been out here for so long. It's just I'd be cool to cut the shit and do a little song and dance, don't you think?
Well, you know Bertram wouldn't be okay with that, right? Do you want to fucking die here?
Don't want to die? No, of
we're
course.
gonna get murdered.
Who is going to murder us?
Bertram!
Oh, you think he would murder us over a little song and dance?
Depends on the song and dance. What do you got?
Well, my friend and I,
Your friend?
You brought a friend with you to duty?
Oh, I mean, well, once you see her, I mean, she's kind of like a different type of friend. You know, she's like it's like a, you know.
Not neurotypical.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Okay.
a new. Yeah.
Okay. Show us what you've got.
Okay, I'm going to set her over here. She's just this little. She's a rock. She is not a marble. She is a rock. And
Oh, because we're on the lookout for a marble. That's a rock?
Yeah, this is a rock that I have polished and made into like a similar shape to a marble, but she is.
No, I'm not a marble. I'm just a rock. I'm sedimentary.
A sedimentary rock in his. God, I never knew this about you.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've never really talked that much, you and I. You know, we just kind of sit on opposite sides of the assignments and guard opposite things, opposite each other at opposite times.
Aware. Burgess Franklinton, get over here.
Oh, hey, Franklinton. Hey, Burgess.
Yeah. Hello.
You gonna watch this show?
What's that?
That is Sediment.
Sediment?
Yeah, my name is Sediment.
Is that thing talking?
That's my singing pet rock Sediment. Okay, you guys remember pet rocks from the 80s?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this is mine. You know, a lot of people got rid of their pet rocks, but if you actually read the, like, instruction manual of the pet rock, you're supposed to keep it for, like, 40 years. And after 35 years, they start to, like, develop a brain. So I think a lot of people just got rid of it too soon.
Yeah, I have a brain. I can
didn't
sing
know
and do all
that.
kinds of shit. Yeah, you guys should have kept on to your pet rocks. It makes me really sad thinking of all the pet rocks that died.
That means there's so many pet rocks that are in cemeteries that have brains.
Oh, yeah, that have
Or
just...
the
yeah,
garbage bin.
that have just come... Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and sing the song, okay? Alright, I'm going to just do some little stretches, and whenever you're ready, sister, sedimentary rock.
Okay. Sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me all the time like what?
Oh!
That's right, I like the time. Well,
Yes!
right.
Oh, get down!
Go for the clock. Go for the clock.
What? What did she say?
Run,
she say?
Beverly! Run!
Oh no!
Run! Sister Marble blew our cover!
Get back here! Oh, who gives a damn? They're too fast for us.
That was a really good song, though.
I agree. That is a great song.
You think we should tell Bertram what's going on? Nah.
We did some goats.
2 goats. 3. Don't forget Franklinton's over there. 3 goats out here in the field. Hello and welcome to MOATAIF, folks. We're back. It's finally here. Jackass Forever. Gotta say, like, I feel like you gotta say it like forever because it's like the 4th movie.
I haven't been saying it because it's like I don't see Jackass 3D.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. You just say Jackass 3. So yeah, maybe that's in the future it'll only be referred to as Jackass 4, I guess.
It might be forever, but I think in this situation, forever really captures what it is well.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, it is like a nice. It's like a really like it's a really nice warm package about like the Jackass family, if you will. And folks, we are going to be getting into a full spoiler review. So if you're wanting to go in to see Jackass 4 completely untainted, which I really do recommend, come back to this after you've seen it. You've had plenty of time to see it now. It's been in theaters for like a fucking month by the time this comes out.
I mean, fuck, by this time it might be on fucking Paramount. Just watch it at home.
Right. And honestly, I do think it would have been a better experience to watch at home. You know, the movie starts, at least when I saw it, it started with a clip of Johnny Knoxville, and he's like, thanks for gathering your friends and coming to the movie theater to see Jackass Forever. I mean, I saw it alone, unfortunately. You know, we had talked about seeing it together back when it was supposed to come out in October. when we did our Jackass movie binge episode. And in that episode, I had a lot of worries coming into this because obviously, like we talked about in that last episode, the Jackass series meant a lot to us growing up, and then it meant a lot in our friendship, something that we did a lot together, and just something that has individually been a part of our, our lives. And a lot of the themes of the movie are like, just the joy of being back together with your friends.
Yep.
So that was definitely something that would have made it a better experience. But ultimately, I mean, we have the rest of our lives to watch it together, so we'll...
Yeah, I mean, I like that they're doing it in theaters only. I mean, at least for me, I saw ended up being 3 other people in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the camaraderie we had watching this flick together.
Yeah.
One other person was also watching it solo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went the day that it came out and saw the first showing at noon that day for matinee pricing. And there were some people in there. It was mostly 40-year-old men, and it smelled like weed when I walked into the theater, which obviously isn't a surprise.
In the theater, though?
Well, I imagine like they probably like hotboxed in their car or something and then went in to watch the movie. Or they just happened to reek of weed. When I got in there, I don't know what, I like had an awkward like brain fart when I was picking my seat, and I wanted to sit in the back row because I thought I'd be able to take notes during the movie for this review. And when for some reason I picked a seat, and I picked a seat that was literally 2 seats away from like a couple. I don't know why I did that. So I just sat at the end of the aisle
weird.
Anyway.
Yeah, I would not sit there.
And so, yeah, I'm just gonna sit like with 1 seat in between me and this couple. And that was the other thing is like the guy that was in the row with me saw it with his girlfriend. And that was a huge mistake, I think, because like she might have been interested in it, but the whole time I just could like, he would have to like explain things or like say like what somebody had just said, or, she'd be like, who's that? And I'm like, that would have just ruined the experience.
Oh, me too, for sure.
So and it almost ruined the experience that it was happening to him, because it's like just literally like at that point 6 or 7 seats down the aisle. But I didn't care. I sat in the back. I sat in the corner. And once the trailers were over, I smoked a little bit more of my vape and had a really great time. I loved the opening.
Took me a second to fully realize what it was. It was probably when they did the big reveal. Mm-hmm. But absolutely fucking ridiculous. So unbelievably creative. I think the best intro they've done.
I thought so too. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Definitely the best intro, most memorable of all the 3 movies. But what I think it really, to me, it was like the perfect culmination, because like the very first one was like them riding in the oversized shopping cart, and it was like mostly just stunts based on that, like them firing shit at them or falling out of the cart.
Yeah.
And then there were some where it was like they took it over the top with visual effects, like the fake running of the bulls, where like the bulls and the boys weren't even like mostly in the same shots. So I thought this was like the perfect culmination where they like use their stunts to create this like absolutely ridiculous like Dickzilla, that's like terrorizing and like then they'll zoom in on these little moments to have like
dialogue and
have like a small stunt with like Wee Man and Danger Aaron that they like blow up and fall off a marquee, and it's like they combined these real stunts with the visual effects of it, and I thought it was like the perfect marriage of all of that, and instantly had me crying. I was crying
from that.
Yeah, so because like for me, as soon as it started, I'm like, this is like, it was just like warmed my heart.
Yeah, it felt very surreal to me.
I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. I can't believe I'm watching this. This is like, I'm getting ready to watch this. And I just, the whole time, like, because it was so perfect, I'm like, this is like exactly what they always would have wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this like ridiculous fucking opening. And I think part of what also made it so effective for me is that as I was driving there and as I've been thinking about the movie, I kept thinking like they were going to make it a lot more important than it was, which I'm glad they didn't. So, like, I thought they were gonna, like, it was gonna start with, like, this, like, epic montage of, like, you know, getting the gang back together. Like, hey, Steve-O,
Oh my
you know what
God,
I mean?
that'd be
Like,
fucking
you
gay.
wanna do some stunts, or they were gonna do it like the COVID route, where it's like the world
Zoom
is
call.
so
Oh my God,
dark.
yeah.
The world needs something light, and it's like, I'm just glad we could finally get together and do. Thank God it wasn't like that at all, because I think
Straight up over the top absurdity from the moment it starts.
and it never relents, and I love that. Like, one of the notes I put down is like, they hardly ever mention COVID. I think they only like really mentioned it one time.
I don't even remember them doing it.
There's like a scene where they're like, it was the prank where they say something like, if you actually trust us to go into a porta potty on set, then you're stupid. And Steve-O goes in, and they are talking about it. So, like, they just blow it up in there. There's like a firecracker and he comes out covered in shit and blue water. And Chris Pontius is like, oh yeah, you know, the world's so fucked up right now, but we still do this kind of shit. You know, that's like the only time they ever mentioned anything about COVID. And the other thing that I love is that there was no, like, so like a lot of these movies and reboots that are coming out kind of like glorify the old series a lot, and so it'll be like this, like Jackass was the best thing to ever happen, and it was a cultural reset. And
they have to like outline its importance and its significance.
They didn't do that at all, literally at
No,
all.
the movie spoke for itself.
Exactly. They didn't sit down and be like, wow, this is 20 years later. I think like Steve-O was the only person who said, like, there was a point in the one movie where we showed a photo 10 years later, and now it's 10 years after that. Like, but there was no sort of like,
He's like, I'm definitely a lot more handsome.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, so I was like, okay, this is going to be exactly what I wanted. Like, right from the start, I was like, they're not making these people out to be like some creative genius saints, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was great right away. What did you think about the new cast? Because I've got some notes about some of the new cast members coming up next.
Well, for the most part, I really liked them. Specifically, I think the one that stood out the most for me was Poopsies.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because that guy is fucking hilarious.
I
Straight
agree.
up idiot.
Literally. So
Like, straight
stupid,
up
yeah.
fucking idiot, but in like the most wholesome way. Like, he knows he's an idiot, and he just looks like a fun person. I forget what the big fat guy's name is.
Zach.
Oh, yeah. Somehow bigger than Preston Lacey.
I know, and I love that he has like some tattoo on the back that's like, I suck nasty cock or something.
I didn't know if that was a
Like,
tattoo or not.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nasty,
I was seeing his tattoos throughout the movie, and they were all gross, and like, this man looks like, I just don't understand this man, like what he's been through to like make him that fat, he does not care or value his life at all.
No, not at all.
And it's really sad.
It was interesting to me because I was almost like, I agree with I agree with you. Like, I liked most of the new cast, and I thought their integration was, well, like, it wasn't like I thought there was a nice balance of like stunts with the old cast, stunts with the new cast, and like intermingling them. Like, it was a nice blend of both. It wasn't like they were only using the new cast. But it's one of my notes is there was not a lot of Preston, Aaron, or Dave, because all of the stunts that they would have done got pushed onto the new guys.
You know, that's interesting. That's really interesting that you say that, because I feel like, you know, when we watched these movies, I mean the old movies, I came out of that hating Danger Aaron.
Yes, yeah.
But I walked out of Jackass 4 having a lot of respect for him, because he stole the show a little bit.
Interesting that you say
He
that.
had a few more stunts. He had a lot more stunts and shit than I ever saw him have. And like, a lot of his scenes were the ones that were making me laugh the hardest. Mm-hmm. I really feel like he really stepped up to the plate for this movie.
Yeah. What specifically are you thinking of? Anything that jumps to your mind?
Specifically, I'm thinking of the one where they had the lie detector test, and they strapped him down and like poured honey on him and let a fucking bear in.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and he was genuinely terrified. Like,
Freaking
you can
the fuck
see how
out.
fucking scared he was.
I would have to go back and look at like the whole list of all the stunts. I tried to like bring them up and like remember all of them, but
I forgot about the bear.
I felt like Danger Aaron really did a lot during this movie. And
Yeah. He definitely, I mean, of those three, of Dave and Preston and Aaron, yeah, Aaron definitely had the most screen time because he also they did like the whole cup test with him.
Yes, that too.
They originally did with
that man let
Johnny.
a pogo stick go onto his nutsack.
Yeah, that was really painful. So yeah, in the first movie they did Johnny said it was the first thing they ever shot.
I think it was in the show.
Was the cup test. Yeah. And we had seen, yeah, you're right, it was on the show, because we got to watch it when we had the show on DVD. Mm-hmm. And it was, they had, like, kids come up and punch him in the balls. And it has completely evolved since then to this absolute... Yes! I wrote down, it's Danger Aaron's big break, which it was, because, I mean, he took over a thing from Johnny, like a sketch, like an idea that was originally for Johnny, and has now gone to Danger Aaron. And it's 3 rounds, I think, is what I've come up with. They had a boxer, a heavyweight boxer, punch him right in the dick, sucker punch him in the dick.
World's strongest punch.
Oh, which I said reminded me of Tokyo because there was that scene where they made Danger Aaron fight or box the Japanese woman.
Yeah, the Japanese woman. Buttermilk. Or is that Johnny Knoxville?
That happened to Johnny. Yeah, Johnny and Buttermilk fought in that one store.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they go from there to the hockey puck where some high winning champion.
No, it was 4 then if it was the hockey puck.
Oh, yeah, and then there's the pogo stick. So what's the 4th? What's the other one?
The softball.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The softball. There was a professional softball pitcher who pitched a pitch right into his nuts. Then there was the hockey puck where they hit him right in the nuts with the hockey puck at high speed. But the worst was definitely the pogo stick because it literally... I
could not believe it.
It pinched I thought his nut had to have popped.
I know!
Literally.
Dude, when the whole time during that out loud in the theater, I'm going, oh my God. And the 3 other people, we kind of were in close proximity to each other just in different rows. We could all hear each other. I'm just out loud going, oh my God, no. No. And I'm cringing, and the girl who came alone behind me is laughing hysterically at him getting a fucking pogo stick on his balls.
I could not, the pain he must have gone through, and when he revealed the blood, and the pain of his balls. Now I gotta say,
made Lance throw up again.
It made Lance throw up, but I gotta say, I don't know why it made Lance throw up.
I don't know either.
To me, that's not very. I mean, it's painful for sure, but it's not very
discharge.
Gross. I gotta say, one of my notes is that I love that Lance came back though, because totally. I mean, he totally could have just been doing something else by now. You know what I mean? As a cameraman, or even just in another career. So I was really excited to see that he was back too.
While we're on that, I feel like I could easily forget this. Interesting character change for Rab himself to go on to be part of the crew.
Yeah, I noticed that. They barely mentioned it, but yeah, he was there, and the only reason they even mentioned it was when they did the wedgie thing, where this time in the original movie Rab himself jumped out of a tree into a wedgie thing, and it really cut him up, bruised him. And then in the Jackass 4, it's Preston and Zach with Wee Man doing the... Right?
Yeah,
is Wee Man doing the wedgie?
Yep, Wee Man, Preston, and Zach. They love doing it.
Now, and that was one of the only ones, too, because one of my other notes was there wasn't a lot... I fully expected to see another scene where Preston's running down the fucking street and Wee Man's chasing him. I'm glad that I didn't, because I didn't like it to begin with.
I don't want to see that.
That's in every movie, so I couldn't... I was surprised that there wasn't any of that at all. But they did, of course, do... that thing. And yeah, Rab was well, I know what happens with this. And so, yeah, it was nice to see all of the
While
people.
he's holding a camera, and I'm Rab himself?
Yeah. It was really nice to see all of the people that returned. And we'll talk about Bam later on.
Yeah.
One person that I did miss was Manny, the animal handler.
Yeah, what happened?
And I looked it up because I was I didn't know until I got back from the movie, but I was the whole movie I'm the new guy, whatever, but he was kind of
just
he was
basic.
Playing it up a little bit.
I thought he was basic.
And and that the scene where I can't remember what he said, but he was is it poisonous? And he goes, and he's obviously playing it up. I'm come on, brother.
Yeah.
Manny was just so he was a weird ass man. He was he was shirtless, stoned most likely. No,
stoned to the gills every time we saw him.
It'll be all right. And he's He's like gonna like grab a fucking rattlesnake out of there. I looked it up. Manny had COVID and he was in the hospital, so that was the main reason. I don't know if he would have been in it otherwise. I can't say for sure,
sad.
but that's one thing that they explained was he was in the hospital and had COVID. So one of the first things at the beginning, which I thought was interesting, was there was like the rattlesnake sequence.
Yeah, like the Welcome to Hell.
Yeah, and they like turn all the lights off and have all this shit going on. It was a good sequence, I thought, but it was I kind of thought like one person that was a little disappointing in it was Dave England, because he was like, I get that he's been a part of this for 20 years. He's like, no, I'm not going through that door, but he wasn't even like really playing along at all at that point. You know what I mean? He's like, I just want to get out of here. I'm not going through that door. Get me out of here. I'm done.
He didn't have the Jackass spirit.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing the part that I wrote down about that was at the very end when Zach, the fat guy, he's trying to get out, and there's like that.
Oh yeah, the whole row of like thumbtacks and mouse traps.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be just an obstruction, like you're not supposed to get past it. And this dumbass thinks he's supposed to crawl over it. Literally, so he's like crawling over thumbtacks and like nails and mouse traps, and then the fucking thing breaks underneath him. It was
fucking hilarious.
And he wasn't. That was like they didn't think anybody was gonna try to climb over it. Had not
fucking
been a part
hilarious.
Of it at all. Oh, I was amazed when they did real life Glenn Quagmire's B-Bush from Family Guy.
What is it? Oh yeah,
Family Guy did.
Steve-O.
Family Guy did that back when they were spoofing Jackass in that episode, and Quagmire gets pubes and shit of bees all around his penis, and he's like, "This is Glenn Quagmire, and this is B-Bush." And they
I don't remember that, but that's funny that they did that.
They did it in the fucking movie. Steve-O hung a fucking pinion around his penis and attracted all the bees to him. And he got stung a few times, stung in the nuts. Definitely painful.
That was hard to watch.
That was
so
really,
much dick in this
really hard to
movie.
watch.
So much dick. More than any other movie, I think.
Yeah, more than any other, and yet none of it was, like, back in the day, it was somewhat attractive. I mean, yeah, they were, like, all dirty, but, like, it was somewhat attractive. Today, it's not very attractive. I mean, it's not like it was, like, if there was no penis in Jackass 4, it would have been wrong. Because, like, that's so much, like, a staple of the movie.
Yeah.
Is just nudity, showing off the penis. I'm glad that they were still able to do it in, like, 2022. Because, I mean, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Can we just talk about how Chris Pontius flattened his penis?
Yes, I have a note about that. The BME Pain Olympics, like they fucking straight out. Because I've only ever seen that done before in that video when somebody fucking like flattened their penis between like two pieces of glass. Well, it looked like it was plastic, but
that's crazy.
And I can't believe that he did it, and they got somebody else to do it in that one scene
Oopsies.
later. Yeah, they had like, and they were playing fucking ping pong, like. They had like a ping pong table set up using their sandwiched penises.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I would never do that. And they were saying, but even Chris was like, no, it doesn't hurt at all. But I'm like, if you try to like, because I mean, I guess it makes sense like your flaccid penis, but I would be afraid. Oh, it's so painful. I can't believe he did it.
I would never know.
And I wrote down though it was kind of cool when Johnny reached out and started playing paddleball with Chris's
right. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. This is I just listened to our last Jackass episode, and we talked how there were a few times when Johnny like showed off his pubes accidentally, or like when he shaved his pubes for the one thing. But in this movie, he almost shows off his winker. There was like that one scene, it's not any more than usual, but there's that one scene where he like lifts up and shows that he's wearing a cup or something like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like, come on, Johnny. Like, Johnny's like the only one to this day that I'm like, take it out.
Well, he had the injury, right?
Yeah, and
I'm sure it looks nasty.
Yeah, it might be. You're right. I never thought about how nasty it might look because of the injury. I just kind of...
he flat out says it looks nasty.
Yeah.
But he might be playing it up. But he did break his penis.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does look disgusting. There's no doubt about it. So one thing I'll mention is that there were this was a 5-star movie before before I start mentioning anything that's negative about it. This overwhelmingly positive experience. One of my notes is that I felt myself grinning the entire movie. Like if I wasn't laughing out loud, I was like still smiling ear to ear just because these are my friends. You know what I mean? Like these boys are my friends.
Yeah, there might have been only a few sequences I was just kind of like, I don't really care about this one.
Yeah, and I mentioned one of the things, and I don't know if it's just because this was the first time I ever watched it, but this didn't feel like the middle dragged. Like there were a few things that a few sequences that I didn't like, but this was nonstop, like one after the other. And so I'm wondering, is the middle only boring because we've seen it 90 times? Like the next time we watch Jackass 4, is the middle gonna drag, you think? Or I mean, is it just genuinely that much better?
I feel like it's just a lot better.
Yeah.
There was no point. I truly never wish the movie was never going to end.
Yeah, me too.
And I was so sad, and I was like, this is probably going to be the final sequence.
Same. Yeah, there was once it was happening, which I made a note. I did love the Vomitron sequence, but the whole time it was happening, I was like, this is the end, isn't it? It would make me more sad than anything.
Yep.
But so this was definitely a 5-star flick. I'm definitely pleased with it. But there were a lot of things that I was like, there's obviously like they couldn't put everything in one movie. So I'm very glad that we're getting a 4.5 because there's a lot of stuff that I felt. Yeah.
Confirmed? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
There was a lot of stuff that was like, I feel like left on the cutting room floor. You know, there was so much that I wanted to see. Like, in fact, I mean, they only did one bad grandpa scene, and they, there was no,
and it was just okay.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked that little scene.
It was funny. Like I laughed, but I know they can do better with that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What was it, Jackass 3, where he literally drives his car into like a fucking building?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
They well, and I used to love Spike Jonze as the grandma. And see any of that, and
going down that big hill in San Francisco.
Yeah, and he's like, I want to do it again, like just all kinds of shit like that. I liked the bad grandpa scene. They go into a furniture store and there's like a fucking like blob setup that the fat guy falls on, and it launches Johnny through the ceiling. It was a really funny scene, but only when like the store employee was like describing it. Like it was funny to see, but then when hearing him describe it, and he's like, the guy fell and your granddaddy went through the roof. It sent him through the ceiling, and it
played like the replay.
Yeah. And it did. It was really funny. I thought that was. I mean, and so it's like I wanted to see more of that, but maybe there was just so much to fit in this movie. So who knows if we'll see anything else like that. The other thing that I really missed was there was hardly any, almost none, poop, no feces.
I saw you put that in your Letterboxd review. It really confused me.
No feces. I mean, think about the one thing they almost like teased it. I really thought we were getting. For Dave England is like the king of shit, and he didn't get to shit.
There was the scene where Preston shit his pants.
That was it. Yeah,
which
that's
really,
the only...
really, really reminded me of Dennis.
Yeah.
I was thinking of him the whole time.
He went, I just shit myself.
Oh, I shit myself.
And I love that they
shit myself.
They didn't let him clean up. They were just like, let's keep going.
Well, if I remember, they didn't even continue with the bit. They're just like pissed. Like that was it.
Himself, yeah. He's like, I shit myself. Yeah. I just think one of my favorite scenes is when Dave England shits in the toilet in the hardware store. And it gave us one of the best moments of the series, Lance throwing up when he prematurely shits in the van.
Yep.
That's like one of the funniest sequences of the whole. And so they Dave goes and sits on that toilet, but then the prank this time is that it's actually like a working toilet somehow sitting out here in this like yard sale. He like goes up to a yard sale and he sits on a toilet, and you think, oh, okay, it's just they're literally just doing the shit one again, which I was a little disappointed in, but I was like, hey, at least this was my favorite thing, so maybe it'll be funny. But then it's like the water just ejects, like explodes and ejects him up on. It's like, so everybody reacts to that.
Yeah, and there's like 3 people there to see it. Like, that's it. And they're just like, what you doing taking a shit?
Yeah, and it's like, if I was there and he did that, like the first thing I would think is like, why is that a real toilet? Like, that's the only thing Like, why did water come out of that? Like, let alone that he was gonna take a shit in it. Why? This is a yard sale.
Yeah, I would immediately know it's a prank.
Yeah, and so like nobody, I don't know, I just didn't think that was a very good reaction. And so there was this, and I mean, how many times like there would just be like a fucking sequence of, like there was like that time where Dave England's ass was like up in the thing, and it was a volcano painted to look like a volcano, and he shot diarrhea up into the air in one of the first three movies.
That's iconic too.
There was so much like just shit. There's so much feces content in the movies that there was no feces in this movie.
I can't really say it popped into my mind at all, that the feces content.
I kept waiting for more feces, and there was never more feces.
Interesting.
My notes are a little out of order, but one thing I gotta say, and I think this has gotta be a universal opinion. I hated the girl.
What?
Did you hate the girl?
No.
I hated her.
I thought she was cool for doing all that shit.
I didn't think she needed to be included at all. And listen, it's not like a misogynistic point of view. Like, I'm not like women shouldn't do gross out comedy, because I mean, she didn't really do any gross out comedy or anything like that. She did a few like stunts, like the Botox with a scorpion, which obviously is like disturbing, and
she did the mime scene.
The mime thing where she like licked a taser. Like, I mean, yeah, she okay, but I didn't like her vibe. I felt like she was trying really hard to be a part of it, and I mean, I'm sure she was.
I thought, I didn't have opinions like that. I just thought it was cool. I mean, she's an attractive woman. I was like, what is she here doing with these boys?
Right, yeah.
She's not belong with these boys, but it's cool that she is.
Yeah, I the one thing, like, so the mime thing was okay. That was like a cool way, like, whatever. And like sometimes she was just there on the sidelines reacting to stuff. And like in those scenarios, like, I didn't have really any opinion of her. But there was the scene, the scorpion Botox scene. And it was the only time in the movie where I felt pulled out of like the Jackass world and put back into the real world. Because they have they're going to do the scorpion Botox. It's going to come up and sting her in the lips and make her lips swell up. And as they're setting up for it, the scorpion falls off and starts crawling across her chest. And I think it's like Chris Pontius or Steve-O or one of the guys is there. He's like, oh, hang on, I'll get it. Or no, he's like, I can't get it because it's on your chest.
Yeah,
she's like,
I'm gonna need permission before I can do that.
Yeah, and I get it.
And she's like, consent.
Yeah, and she's like, you have consent. And they like do this whole, I'm like, kill myself. That, I don't know. For some reason, it really took me out of the moment, and I just hated the rest of the scene for it. Like, everybody else is like flinching. They're like, ooh, and like, yeah, I mean, like, it hurts to get your lips stung by a. But I was just, to me, she put off the same vibe as like Danger Erin in the original movies. Like, I will do anything to be in this movie. You want me to I'll lay on the bed of nails. I'm the third person you asked. I don't care. I'll lay on the bed of nails if it'll get me in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I really didn't like her.
That's the vibe I got from Zach.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
You want me to jump into a thing of cactuses?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
He totally did that. And there was like the one scene where like he and Poopsie were talking about it, and they were like,
is that what it is? Poopies? I thought it was Poopsies.
I think it's Poopies, yeah.
Yeah, Poopies
He's like,
makes more sense.
I grew up watching Jackass, and now I'm a part of it. Like, that was one of the only times where they like talked about how iconic the series is. Which I get it. Like, if I was ever, I would never be, but if I was ever a member of the Jackass team, like, of course I would want to be the person that's like, yeah, I'll do it, of course. I did make a note about that cactus jump scene, because that's like where they're standing there and Preston's talking to him, and he's like, we did our time, now we're passing the torch to you.
Yeah.
And, we talked about it last time. I liked the new cast, but I am not sold on a Jackass movie with just the new cast.
Neither am I. They weren't in it enough.
Yeah. And, especially the Vomitron at the end kind of set it up. So, like, one of the things that I noticed throughout the movie, and it makes sense. I mean, the boys are 40 now, and we talked about how a lot of the sketches that would have been done by, like, Preston or Dave in the past are now done by these new kids. But a lot of the movie, I mean, some of the movie was just the old cast writing scenarios, writing sketches. and then having the new guys do it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And I could definitely see a Jackass movie where, like, the old guys are just there to react to what the new guys do. Like, they just come up with all of this ideas and are only involved in a few things. Like, I guess I would consider that. But without the original cast, like, there's nothing of value to me.
I think there could be if, like, Jeff Tremaine still worked on it. Mm-hmm. And, like, if Johnny and, you know, Steve-O, Dave, Danger, if they were all still a part of it in some way. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's what 4.5 is going to be.
You think?
I think 4.5 is going to be a lot of the cuts from the new people. And I think that, like, I don't feel like I saw a lot of them in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good balance. Because, it
was a good balance to make the perfect Jackass movie. The best one, I think.
I agree with you. And, like, they would like, you know, they would like pair up a new guy with an old guy and then put them into it together, and, like, that would, I think, work out really well. Mm-hmm. And especially in the Vomitron, like, I loved how, you know, they're spinning around, they're all drinking different colored milk. It didn't really work out very well. Like, they thought they were gonna, like, puke up milk. And then, you know, Johnny's military from the opening scene comes in and they're, like, firing paintballs and there's explosions and all this stuff because it's the final sequence. That was actually fucking hilarious. And it was, like, one of my favorite parts about it was just Steve-O just being there reacting to it. Uh-huh. He's, like, narrating the whole thing. He's like, oh, Poopies is puking. Like, Poopies wants out.
Zach's passing out.
Yeah. It was making me laugh so fucking hard because he's just, like, loving being there, like, reacting to it. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of guest stars in this movie. I mean, I guess
yes, I liked all the guest stars.
There were, like, always guest stars, I guess, but I thought it was fucking random as hell that Rob Dyrdek was in this movie. But honestly, it made me laugh my ass off because I'm pretty sure we talked about Rob Dyrdek the last time.
Did we?
Because I was like, there's so many skaters that have been in and out of this movie, and it like was born out of the skate community.
Yeah.
And Rob Dyrdek did like stunts and shit on Fantasy Factory. So I mean, like, and like Ridiculousness kind of like is a Jackass vibe. So I mean, it totally makes sense why he was there. I feel like I summoned it. Like when I saw him, I was like, holy shit. Because I'm almost positive we talked about it.
It does sound familiar now that you say that. I mean, they had Tony Hawk in the opening sequence.
Yeah, I loved that.
They had Aaron Jaws Hamoki, which is an amazing skateboarder who definitely seems like he would be on Jackass.
Mm-hmm. You know, and that's one thing that was interesting. There wasn't, and I mean, maybe it's because Bam wasn't in the movie, but there wasn't as much skateboarding or, like, stunts like that that there used to be. Like, I'm thinking, like, the scene where they had the loop-de-loop, and there was the drama of who was going to be the first person to ride the mini bike around this loop-de-loop in that one movie.
Oh, yeah.
There were, like, no stunts like that. Not as many that I can think of, or if any that I can think of.
There was a scene where somebody did a kickflip, and then some guy tackled him while he's doing a kickflip.
Ah, yeah.
They did this. They did the ramp, the human body ramp.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one. Especially with like Preston laying on the ground underneath like two other people, and he's like, get off me. That was it, really, and especially once they pulled out the mini bike and the fat guy got on it and rode it over 3 people on a ramp
successfully. Or did he fall off?
I think he landed it and then fell off, or like fell off as he was landing. But I mean, he certainly went over the ramp.
He did, for sure.
And that was crazy. I mean, by the time they ramped up to that part, I was like, holy shit! Like they're gonna kill these people.
Right, I know, and that was like one of the first sequences.
Yeah.
But I missed the skateboarding a lot. But I was happy to see a few professional skateboarders in the movie.
It was so random too, because for Rob Dyrdek, like he didn't do anything. They did like musical chairs.
He was just like the announcer,
and he was just there. And but I did really like in that sequence, Wee Man sits on the chair, he explodes up and over and like lands in the middle of the chairs.
That was funny. Yeah,
didn't have like any padding back there because they didn't expect that to happen at all.
I thought that scene was kind of anticlimactic though. I thought they would go much higher than what they did. Like the setup was not set up well to like just a medicine ball under there.
Yeah, and they kept doing it over and over again. Like he's like, well,
like it was going to build up to something big, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
So then we also had Machine Gun Kelly, who I thought was interesting. I mean, his sketch was probably one of the more involved, because like Rob Dyrdek just announced, at least Machine Gun Kelly participated in the one event and got slapped by a giant fucking hand from like the one movie. That was like a nice throwback.
I knew Steve-O was gonna win too.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was fucking hilarious,
especially because like Machine Gun Kelly's so pompous, so it like was so it was so satisfying to see him get fucking hit.
Oh yeah, but he's sexy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my fucking god, Machine Gun Kelly could have me any day of the week.
One of the people, so then there was also Tyler, the Creator, I wrote down, which,
yeah.
You know, I didn't really like his involvement. At this point, let me switch over to my photos, because Cooper Nasal posted his review.
Yeah, I saw you mention Tyler, the Creator.
Yeah, he says, saw this with 2 longtime friends. Always a fun time when this crew is involved. Wee Man Tank was my favorite part.
I did think that was funny.
It was funny, yeah. Seeing Tyler, the Creator, and Eric Andre made things even better. Jackass Forever. So, to me, I think both Eric Andre and Tyler, the Creator were a little underwhelming.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
Tyler, the Creator, had to, like, he caught on before they actually, so he was, like, supposed to just be playing the piano.
Yeah, like, you gotta keep that to yourself, bro.
Yeah, and then he caught on and just kind of ruined it a little bit. But it was funny, because, like, so one of the keys, when he played it, would have sent a shock to his chair, is essentially what was going on. And before they got to that part, something happened. He discovered, he's like, oh, I can see that, you know, if I hit this key, I'm gonna get shocked. And at that part, I wrote down, hated the crew, because a lady intervened and tried to explain. So some, like, PA on the show, he's like, what is this? Am I gonna get shocked if I play this? And she's like, no. She's like, just some PA. She's like, no, it's because it was a player piano. He wasn't actually playing the piano. It was automatically playing. And so she was saying that it was like the RF signal for the piano. For some reason, I just hated her. I'm like, I don't want to hear somebody else, one of the production assistants, explain to Tyler, the Creator, what's gonna happen. Like, I just really hated it. But I did think it was funny at the end, when he flipped it and made Jeff Tremaine sit on the...
I did think that was funny. He's like, I fucking hate you, Jeff.
Yeah, and shocked him. Yeah, that was really funny. And Eric Andre, I mean, he was also, just like Rob Dyrdek, was like only there as like an announcer, you know, and he just kind of stood on the side.
Yeah, but I liked his involvement with it just because I like everything he does. I like that he was loosely involved. I would not expect him to do any stunts.
No, but I mean, I guess I kind of thought when I saw that Eric Andre was going to be in it, I thought that he would be, like, interacting with Bad Grandpa, or, like, playing a character in that way. Like, I thought they were going to, like, bring Eric Andre in, have him do bird talk or whatever the hell he did on that
he's
show,
really good
like,
at public stunts. I wonder why they didn't have him do that.
Yeah, public stunts. That's what I should have said. I thought for sure he would be involved in some way like that, but he started out just reacting to stuff, and then there was, like, one scene with the fake coffee stand where they, like, bopped him in the head with an airbag.
Yep, that's it.
It's like, okay, so one guy that I do think kind of almost stole the show in some ways, Dark Shark. What did you think of Dark Shark?
I agree. Yeah, I like Dark Shark.
Yeah. Former ex-convict, father of one of the new guys. I guess he's not a former ex-convict. He's a former convict. Ex-convict, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Honestly, funnier than his son.
Way funnier than his son. His son, I don't even know what his involvement really was. I mean, he was in some of the stunts, but I'm like, okay.
He was on the side. I love that Dark Shark stole that from him.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And so, like, they bring him in because he's gonna be put in this head chamber device, and they're gonna put a tarantula, like this big ass fucking spider in there.
And him and Dave England, right?
Let me look. I think it was. I think it might have been Danger Aaron.
Oh, it might have been actually. Yeah, I always get them confused.
Because it's, for some reason, it's the thumbnail. Yeah, it's Danger. It's the thumbnail photo on. It's like the cover photo on the Jackass Forever thing. And when I saw that, I thought it was puke. Like, I thought, like, they were having this black man puke directly onto Dave England's, or Danger Aaron's face.
That's fucking hilarious.
Like, I thought they were, I thought they were just, like, absolutely, like, puking directly onto his face. But instead, they're blowing air down this little tunnel to try to get the spider into the other person's head bubble. And Dark Shark is so scared when the fucking thing crawls, he literally passes out. Which was so fucking hilarious. He's clenching onto the animal wrangler and Johnny's shirts for dear life and passes out.
I love the way that his son explained it, though. He's just like, he's afraid of anything that's not from the hood. Animals, insects, like cats, dogs. And he genuinely was.
Literally. And so then in the next segment, they like go out into they're like in this cemetery set. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, I didn't know or recognize the Chris Pontius and Steve-O are in this like gothic makeup, best way to describe it, or like voodoo makeup.
Yeah, I would call it like voodoo.
And they're like talking about this like poem or whatever. They're like, something dark's gonna happen tonight. I can't describe it, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And apparently that was a callback, because in the credits they like show a scene of that from the past. I didn't recognize that at all. Did you?
I didn't either. I thought it was probably something that never aired, or it was just footage they had footage they never released because it like wasn't very good, and they're like, let's do this right.
Yeah, like for some reason it was iconic to them. Maybe it was on Wild Boys or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been.
But so they have Wee Man lay down on the ground and they put some meat in his thong, and have a vulture come out and eat the meat out of Wee Man's thong.
Fucking hilarious.
It was hilarious. I loved this, but now, so he was terrified of this. Wee Man was scared of this bird, which, I mean, the bird was like as big as him, so like I get it. But to me, how scared are we supposed to be of a vulture? Like, couldn't I just go like this, like, and like make it fly away? Like, are they really that scary?
Well, it's because he's literally pecking at his wiener. That's why I thought he was scared.
Right. Well, I mean, so then later they like, after the scene wraps, they get Dark Shark and they put like a falcon thing on his arm and have the vulture land on his arm, and he freaks out. And I know he's freaking out because he's afraid of birds. But I'm just like, I'm hoping that if I was there and they put the vulture on my arm, like, that's not scary, is it? I mean,
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't be afraid of a vulture.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was definitely an intimidating bird, and I don't want it eating meat around my balls. But I mean, like, they were like really freaking out, and the whole time I'm like, would I be this scared of a vulture? I don't know. I mean, obviously if it was pecking at my balls, you know. But again, Dark Shark, when they put it on his arm, he almost fucking passes out again. He's like screaming like a little girl. Fucking hilarious.
Well, it's kind of like, it's funny because they are so afraid, kind of like when they did it with Bam, that snake with Bam.
Oh, right.
He got pissed.
Yeah, he was really offended by that.
You fuckers know my biggest fear.
Yeah, so I thought this was a great movie, and one of the things that I really liked about it was there was no fan service until the end. Like, I think a lot of these reboots and like 20-year later sequels that come out have this like we talked about briefly at the beginning, like they just glorify these old movies. Like, do you remember how great Jackass was? Mm-hmm. Like, this is the best thing that's ever happened, and we're doing it again. And I'm so glad they didn't do that. I'm glad it wasn't just like, remember when because I mean, like, okay, so like there was a few in the opening, like they did a few callbacks where it was like, you know, Steve-O gets launched in a porta potty and you see the footage of him getting covered in shit again, and it's like, yeah, okay, they did that before, but that's like really everything else after that, they don't really do any sort of like, remember when we did this? Remember when we did this? Well, we're doing it again.
Yeah, so and if they did, it was very small right. Little callbacks.
Oh, and like, or the like kind of misdirect where they have Dave England go and sit on the toilet, and you think, okay, he's gonna shit, but then the toilet explodes. I mean, so
yeah, and in going off of that, I think it's interesting that I thought the way they set it up so Steve-O does the shit thing again. Mm-hmm. That was the ending sequence of that movie.
Yeah.
When he originally did it. And that was the beginning sequence of this one.
Yeah,
and I thought that's what they wanted to set up as. Just like, man, the ending segment that's like 10 or 15 minutes long in the last one.
You're right. I didn't even think of that.
Very brief part of the beginning segment of this one. It really set up my expectations for the movie.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I love, because I really thought there was, I don't know why. I think it's just because every other piece of media is doing it. But I really, really thought there was going to be a lot of stuff about COVID. I really thought there was going to be a lot of like, oh, I'm so glad we're back together.
Different now because we got COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, put your mask, where's your mask? You know, just jokes like that. Or like, just thank God. Thank God it didn't do that.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't like, it didn't hold itself on such a high regard. It literally feels like more of the same. It feels like just the next movie. It doesn't feel like anything, and as sad as what I'm about to say is, it doesn't feel like anything's missing.
Did it?
And we, yeah, and of course, like one of the biggest glaring omissions is Bam Margera, who famously was fired from the production of this movie. You know, who can say what it would have been like if he had been involved, you know, and who can say, like, we might have even thought it was even better with Bam Margera, and we could have gotten a Phil and April Margera scene too, which, you know, are iconic to the series too, but I mean, it's not like the whole movie I'm like, oh man, I really wish there was a scene with Bam Margera. It's like the whole time I'm like, you know, it would be really nice if Bam was here, but he's not.
Well, at this point in time, it's just like Bam is like, he whines a lot. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I don't think he would be very entertaining.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not doing that.
He's so depressed, and yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is one thing I noticed about the old cast is that they were a lot more opinionated or a lot more demanding, especially Aaron. Like, I wrote down, Aaron was more assertive. He's definitely been to counseling, but he's kind of entitled. Because we talked about how, like, in the first three movies, he's like their bitch. I mean, like, they bully him.
Absolutely.
They like openly talk about, you know, bullying him. And in this movie, there's like the part where, you know, they're about to do the pogo stick scene, and he's laying on the floor and he says, "If the jokes and the laughing don't stop, I walk." He was like getting ready to, he was like already pissed. He's like, if you guys don't stop laughing, I'm done. Like, he's like, and I'm like, that can't, his counselor said, stand up for yourself this time. Like, don't fall into the same mistakes.
I want to do this. I want to do this new movie. I really do, but like, I can't stand when the guys pick on me.
Yeah, and they're like, well, just stand up for yourself. Say if the jokes and laughing don't stop, I walk.
You know, there on Steve-O's podcast, he had on Danger Aaron, and they had like a 20-minute talk about how they tortured him.
Yeah.
And he talked about how like it hurt him.
Yeah. That's sad. That's so sad.
I'll have to send it to you if I find the clip again.
Yeah, because they talk about it openly especially in the .5s, but like we were really like analyzing that big time in the first three movies.
And his rivalry with Dave.
Yeah, and so that was one thing. There were no Danger versus Dave moments. No, they didn't pair those two up against each other like they used to, which, you know, it was one thing I was disappointed in. But I did love how it ended. So like the whole movie, they take it, you know, that's just straightforward. This is Jackass 4. But then during the credits, they've got an extended montage of like the part where they reveal like the old footage of them in the goth makeup. And there's like extra little scenes and some things from the past. One thing that got me tearing up was when they started like in various scenes, like one after the other, they showed how each person has like a Jackass tattoo.
Yeah, I saw that
in the credits. That made me tear up, and like they're like hosing down Preston, and right in the middle of his chest is a Jackass like skull and crossbones, and he's like near as it like comes clean. Thought that was fucking hilarious because it was just such a part of their life as much as like as much as like I consider it a part of my life, like it's literally their life, you know, like.
Yeah, and I thought it was really wholesome seeing like an old clip of Chris Pontius being like, I'm getting paid to like ride a skateboard in a thong. That
like it just gave me goosebumps to think about.
You could just tell he's living his best life, and he has been ever since.
It was really, I really enjoyed it. And of course they ended the montage with clips of Ryan Dunn, who, of course, again, will give a MOATAIF honor to. May he rest in peace.
Shout out to my boy.
You know, it was sad. It was definitely sad, but I thought this was the perfect. I mean, I'm so glad, because like even right before I went to see it, I told you, I'm like, I really hope Jackass 4 is not a Borat 2. Yeah. And it's not. It's not a Borat 2.
No, they did it right. Glad. They set the precedent. And I really, like, I don't want to sound completely cringe, but I really, truly feel like that movie is exactly what we needed as a country.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, like, I came out of, I like, when I got back to my car, I was super emotional because, like, I was just super grateful for all of the crew for making me laugh that hard.
Oh, yeah.
I was crying laughing at points.
Me too.
Just the whole time. And I got super emotional in my car and started crying. And I went home and I went back to Abigail's house because she was watching Ruby. And she has absolutely no interest in Jackass.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my God, it was so good. I was crying laughing. And then I start crying. I'm just like, I'm just so thankful for them boys.
Literally.
I'm so thankful for them boys for doing this. And they're such a big part of my life. And they whatever. And then she was like, well, what happened in the movie? And I'm like, the only thing I can think to tell her about is the dick flattening. That's like one of the things that stuck out the most.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And she's like, I see her like on her phone and I'm like, are you talking about me? And she's like, yeah, like she told me what she sent Lindsay and she texted her like, RJ just went to go see the new Jackass movie, has been crying since he got back because he's so grateful for them and how good it was. And then proceeds to tell me about a scene where a man flattens his penis and plays ping pong with it. So I'm like, yeah. That's peak humor.
There's no way you could I feel like the only person who's going to watch a Jackass 4 and cry is a person who has watched it for so long, because there was so much about it that was so heartwarming.
Oh my God.
And yes. I do think you're right. That it was needed. Now, do you think there will be a Jackass 5?
Yeah.
You think?
Oh yeah.
With the cast or with new cast?
I think it'll be exactly what we're saying, where they're more hands off.
Hands off would be fine, but not in it. I don't know if I could accept it.
If it's not directed by Jeff Tremaine, I won't. If it's directed by Jeff Tremaine, I will, because I really feel like he's the idea guy.
Yeah.
I really feel like he's the glue that keeps it together, especially seeing interviews with him.
Mm-hmm.
He really seems like he's the running it.
Well, and he also, there were a lot of times when Wee Man he looks over at Jeff and he's like, Jeff, I'm done. You know what I mean? So like they're all like, I know how to get out of this. I just say Jeff. And like so many of the old cast were doing that. They're like, Jeff, like, I'm not doing this.
He's like, no, keep going.
And there was the final scene with Johnny where he loves bowls.
Loves them.
And he gets like the best knockout ever. Like literally knocked him out, and I heard him snoring. I mean, like, did you hear that?
Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, it was probably the best bowl scene that they've done, I suppose. But as they load him into the ambulance, they start shouting, like, Captain! Captain!
That's why he's our captain.
Yeah, and I'm like, it made me cringe so hard. Because, like, listen, obviously Johnny's the captain because he's, like, the star and whatever.
He does do the craziest shit.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He's the captain, certainly. But just to hear them say that, and then I'm just thinking, like, this, like, I started visualizing Jackass like it's a team, and I'm like, okay, so, like, these guys are, like, gonna come in, they're, like, the new stars of the team, and, like, he's just the captain. I'm like, I don't like that. He's the star. I don't know. There was just something about it that made me cringe. I don't know. But listen, I guess if there's a Jackass 5 without the boys, I'll go see it.
Yeah, we're gonna go see it.
But as of right now, Jackass is a quadrilogy. And one of the things that I was thinking of is, are there even any other... Like, obviously, there are some. But I couldn't think of any off the top of my head. But I've got a list of some other quadrilogies here as we close out. We've got the 1990s Batman series. Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. We've got the Silence of the Lambs quadrilogy, which the Silence of the Lambs then has Hannibal, Red Dragon, and Hannibal Rising. Jaws has 4 movies. Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, and Jaws the Revenge. The Matrix had a 4th movie come out in 2021, so now it's The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix Revolutions, and The Matrix Resurrections. We've got Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. Forgot about the Toy Stories. Hunger Games has 4 movies. Jackass has 4 movies. Now, also, right now, there are 3 series that are no longer quadrilogies up until there's a 5th Indiana Jones movie coming out, so it's not going to be a quadrilogy anymore. It never should have been a quadrilogy to begin with. They shouldn't have made anything past the third movie. And now they're going to make a fifth.
There was a fourth one.
Yeah. Shrek 5 is coming out. So Shrek 4 will no longer be a quadrilogy.
I've never seen Shrek 4.
I haven't either. Yeah.
I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
What?
Just this year, there was Scream. It's only called Scream, but it's essentially Scream 5. So Scream is no longer a quadrilogy. So I guess we'll see if Jackass Forever will maintain, because I mean for the longest time it was just a trilogy, so we'll see if they ever make another installment. I don't know, varying opinion of whether I would go see it. I would probably go see it.
I would go see it.
I want my boys to be involved, and I don't want that girl to be involved.
For one scene where she gave Chris Pontius consent to touch her tit.
Well, because, listen, I'm just thinking, look, if the new cast is going to be more involved in the next one and she's in the new cast, I don't want more from her. I'm sorry.
She had, like, 2 clips.
I don't care if it makes... But I don't want more of them. I give her 2 clips in the next movie, and it'll probably be too much.
I'm going to have to politely disagree with this one.
Listen, if it makes me sound misogynistic, then so be it.
It does.
But I don't like her. I didn't like her. I didn't like her. Now I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. I'm not opposed to a girl doing it. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's sexist, but I really just did not like her. I don't know, but I'm very thankful for this movie. Very thankful for Jackass 4, and honest to God, can't wait for Jackass 4.5 because the .5s are some of my favorite.
Oh yeah, it could possibly
movies.
be even better than 4, which would be saying something.
Because I love the documentary aspect of it.
Me
and
too.
I feel like you get to know the boys more than just these random, stunts, which are great. But you actually get to hear more about the production and that kind of stuff, which honestly could be a little cringe if they have to talk about COVID in that. But I hope not. Now, I just want to hear, I'm really hoping there's some feces in 4.5.
Zach's hoping for feces and no women, folks. You've heard it here.
Feces and no women. Jackass 4.5. Let's get it done, folks.
This is the official MOATAIF stance. Out, Ruby! Out! Out!
Until next time, folks. Stay moat.
Take care.
You too.
Be careful. Go home.